What is going on, everybody? Today we are breaking down the tape of defensive end Donovan Ezeiruaku, a guy who I think is a little overlooked given the fact the Cowboys have made a ton of moves this season, from bringing in Jadeveon Clowney early on this season, making a trade for Logan Wilson, and of course most recently Quinnen Williams comes over to the Cowboys. Ezeiruaku's kind of been overlooked a little bit. Of course, the guy is a rookie, so he will have to continue to develop, but there's some flashes on tape, man, and I'm excited to kind of get into what this guy has shown us and why I think Ezeiruaku is going to end up developing into a really, really good defensive lineman. So the guy, as a pass rusher, has flashed. And he's not perfect, right? He has to get a little bit stronger. He has to continue to fine-tune the pass rush technique. But the pass rush moves and the technique he does flash, it looks good, right? You get plays like this where you're going to line him up in the wide 9. He is going to end up getting influenced by the wide receiver. But he does a great job as he makes contact with this left tackle here. He's going to start this wide to the outside. He's going to end up coming back to the inside. He's going to rip. He does get double teamed, but he does win the rep initially. At the point in which he makes contact with this tackle, he does a great job getting inside leverage on this guy. And you can see the way he changes direction, the way he's able to influence, the way he's able to set up these guys. He's backing this up a couple frames. Ezeiruaku starts this super wide to the outside. And he's going to quickly come back inside. Left punch, right arm's going to end up ripping right there. To me, that's a really good spot to be in, given the offense tackles are high and it's kind of wrapping you around. You could get called for a hold in this one. But he does get the help, which kind of stops him. But you see the little things that this guy's doing in terms of the pass rush. Take this next one. On this next one, you're going to get him lined up essentially in the long 3 technique. He's going to be going up against a pretty good left guard. And he's going to beat this guy super quickly with movement. He has a defensive line game, and he has a job he has to do within that. So you see him kind of slow down to hit the inside of this left tackle. This is actually a very smart play by him to understand that he has to do something specific. And he obviously gets the quarterback on this one. But you see the traits, you see the quickness, you see the flashes. Once again, just think about this play here. So he's lined up in the long 3 technique, so you got to understand the situation you're in. Given the fact that you're going to get 3 defensive linemen way out here, you have a defensive end as well. That means most likely you're going to have a bunch of space. You're going to have this guy also kind of get out of here. But what that means is you're basically putting the guy in front of you in space. This guy has to be able to match your movement. So Ezeiruaku is going to start this to the inside, quickly change back to the outside. And you just see him beat this guy super quickly with the movement and the quickness. And on this one, obviously it is a defensive line game. So, with that, he has to go to the outside. He has to make contact with the tackle. But he also does do a really good job being able to get this tackle off balance. Just the way he makes contact with him, to me, is really nice. Him getting his hands on this tackle, that also means the guard has to make a decision. You either stick with Ezeiruaku, which allows Solomon Thomas to have a free shot at the quarterback, or you make that switch back to Thomas, essentially letting Ezeiruaku go, and he gets a really nice hit on the quarterback. Just a really nice job here, if you guys ask me, by Ezeiruaku. Now, here's another really nice rep, once again, by the rookie defensive lineman. He's going to start upfield and to the outside. He's going to quickly put his foot into the ground, change direction. He uses his hands a little bit to beat that tackle. He gets the quarterback. Once again, it's a pretty nice job, if you guys ask me. Absolutely love this. So just kind of slowing it down here. He's going to start this pass rush to the outside. He's going to put the left foot into the ground right there. Change direction, and then look at the right hand, swap away the inside arm of the tackle right there. Left arm kind of swims. Does a nice job being a pretty good right tackle. And again, the play is a rollout to the right of your screen, so Ezeiruaku doesn't get the instant pressure, but he does get the instant win. To me, really, really, really nice job with the way this guy wins. And do keep in mind, he's a rookie, so going into next season, he's going to look a lot better. I think the speed of the game will kind of slow down for him as well. But the flashes are there. Here's another one. Once again, look at how he influences the tackle on this one. Once again, lined up outside, and on this one, he's going to actually end up closing the distance. What he's going to do is he's going to actually start the pass rush to the inside, and he's going to jump back to the outside. And you look at this tackle trying to get vertical, has to stop himself, right? Because Ezeiruaku's looking to potentially go to the inside for him to end up hitting an outside move. And again, it's a one-step drop. The ball gets out. It's a back shoulder pass. But Ezeiruaku beats this guy super quickly once again. He ends up getting to the corner. This guy wins quickly. He wins well. He has good pass rush movement. He understands angles, how to attack guys. And I think this is going to allow this guy to become a really, really good pass rusher. The Dallas Cowboys, I think next year, if they keep the main 5 guys on the defensive line between Clowney, Ezeiruaku, and the 3 defensive tackles, if they keep all 5 of these guys, I think this is going to be one of the best, if not the best defensive line in the NFL. And the Cowboys are already kind of up there as one of the best defensive lines. But you see plays like this where he does a really nice job. And one of the things to note this play is he is going to get double teamed, so it's going to slow down the initial pass rush. But, when you get chipped as a defensive end, how do you counter? How do you come back to your pass rush? How do you go to your second or third move? And look at him reset on this play. So obviously he gets chipped, so he ends up in a situation where the left tackle kind of locks in with him. Watch him take like 2 steps to the left here. He's going to essentially take those steps. He's going to reset. He's going to force this tackle back in space. Quickly changes direction. Left hand swats. Right arm comes over the top. And he ends up beating the left tackle, and he's going to end up generating some pressure on the quarterback. Once again, just a phenomenal understanding of angles, understanding of how to set guys up in terms of your pass rush. The effort's there. Goes to your second, third move. Phenomenal rep once again by a really good young pass rusher. And I think one of the things that makes Donovan Ezeiruaku unique as a pass rusher is he has multiple different moves that he goes to. Now, before we go forward, I want to talk to you guys about the future of sports. If you guys are into traditional sports books, you are being robbed. And I'm telling you guys need to get over to Polymarket right now. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean. Now, in the Polymarket app, one of the cool things I like is you can take a position at any moment of a game. So let's say right here you take the Colts versus 49ers who are playing on Monday Night Football. And let's say you put $100 on the Colts. Well, before the game, you see the odds, but as the game continues, those odds are going to change in real time. So if the Colts score a touchdown or kick a field goal, they go up, the odds change, and you can at that point sell your position. So you can profit on a moment of a game. The most recent game that the Raiders had against the Houston Texans, everybody thought the Raiders were basically out. They're down 2 possessions. I think there was maybe 8 minutes left in the game. And out of nowhere, Ashton Jeanty breaks a massive 60-yard touchdown, and the odds change in real time, right? You kind of see that happening. So Polymarket's different, right? They're not forcing all of your picks to hit. You can take a position whenever. You can sell that position whenever, which is why I'm highly recommending Polymarket. I think it's the future of sports. And right now, if you guys go sign up to Polymarket and use my code SCOUT, they are literally giving you $10 for free. No deposit required. It's a free $10. Make sure you guys use my code SCOUT at Polymarket. Let's get right back into the content. And I think one of the things that makes Donovan Ezeiruaku unique as a pass rusher is he has multiple different moves that he goes to. Now, he's not like super fine-tuned where every single one of these moves, he's like super elite at it, but he has a bunch of moves. And I've already shown you guys a number of plays. I've shown you guys some of the angles he takes and how he kind of sets guys up. And I think the setup as a pass rusher is always going to be the most important part of pass rushing. Von Miller said this like a year and a half ago. He feels like when it comes to pass rushers, the actual moves don't matter all that much. What matters the most as a pass rusher is the movement, not the moves, right? Not the pass rush. The actual movement is what matters the most. A part of that also is understanding angles, which obviously Ezeiruaku definitely does understand. But on this one here, he's going to go to a completely different pass rush move. Right, he's going to essentially speed rush this. He's going to use what's called the ghost move. And it generates pressure. It forces the quarterback off the spot. But keep this in mind. He'll come to this move on one play, and then on the very next play, he'll do this. He'll go to a speed rush. You think he's going to the outside again, only for him to double hand swipe and essentially hit you with an inside move. And again, generates pressure, gets the quarterback off the spot. This is why Ezeiruaku, I think, has so much upside and potential. The angles he takes are really impressive, the way he understands pass rushing. The pass rush technique can obviously still continue to be fine-tuned. And I think that's something that happens over time. But the guy flashes, man, and I'm not trying to overhype him, but there's just not a lot of young pass rushers in the NFL that can set guys up and beat guys the way Ezeiruaku does. Just another really nice play. This one, obviously, you get a 10-yard touchdown, but just think about the play, right? He's going to obviously start outside, fake inside, goes back outside, double hand swipes. There's a holding that happens. Obviously doesn't end up getting called, but just a really good pass rush setup, pass rush plan. The execution's really impressive as well. Starts inside, puts the left foot into the ground, jumps outside, double hand swipes the hands. Tackle leans, ends up beating him, gets held by the left tackle, but still gets the hit on the quarterback. Again, this right here is very impressive. Now, I also think Ezeiruaku's kind of underrated as a run defender. Donovan Ezeiruaku will always be a speed-based run defender. So although you might see plays where he'll beat tight ends like you see on this one, does a great job going up against Ian Thomas. He controls the tight end, essentially tosses him to the side, gets off the block. Here's another one. Once again, going up against Dallas Goedert. He's going to do a really nice job with the hands, controls, gets off the block, makes the play, phenomenal rep. So you'll see plays like this where he does a nice job as a run defender against tight ends. I think it's also important to point out what Donovan Ezeiruaku is not. Right? He is not a guy that's going to be physical, and he's not a guy that's going to go through people in a physical way. Here's a good example of that. As this wide receiver here down blocks Ezeiruaku, Ezeiruaku's not going to go through this guy. He's going to try to use his quickness. He's going to try to use some sort of pass rush moves, the hands. And it's a pretty good job using your hands, right? But the point I'm making is Donovan Ezeiruaku is not going to use power. He's not going to stop people at the point of attack. Ezeiruaku's the guy that's going to spill. He's not the type of guy that's going to end up going through and really setting that front side gap. Now, he will beat tight ends. He can take on certain offensive tackles, but you're going to generally see this guy use his quickness the way you do here. And again, there's nothing wrong with this, right? This is kind of how Micah Parsons played run defense. This is how Max Crosby plays run defense. When a guy comes at you, you're not going to take him on. Instead, you're going to make him miss. And there's multiple plays like this with Ezeiruaku on tape, and I'll just show you guys a couple more of these. Here's one where he's going to end up faking out the tight end, right? Fakes outside, comes back inside, uses his quickness and speed to blow it up. 2nd and 10, that's only picked up about a yard. Again, nothing wrong with this, right? But I do want to just point it out that as a run defender, Ezeiruaku's going to use the quickness and the speed. And I think, whatever defensive coach continues to coach the Cowboys to kind of go forward, they really have to understand this guy as a player. You want Ezeiruaku to line up in the wide 7. And what would be even better, just put him out there in the wide 9 and let him use his quickness, right? Let him use that speed, that movement, the ability to change direction, the understanding of angles, right? Once again, just understanding what to do when a guy comes out towards you. Fake him out is this, it's literally this easy for this guy to beat the left tackle. Fakes outside, jumps inside, he blows up the entire play. That's impressive right there. Not a lot of guys are winning reps the way Ezeiruaku does on this one. But this is what the Dallas Cowboys have to continue to do with this guy. And I love this, man. I love watching plays like this because as an offensive tackle, you have a very, very, very clear, essentially clear responsibility within this power run concept. Right, you're running duo. The play does not work without your block. In fact, your block is what sets this up. Given the fact that the bubble is probably right in here, if you guys don't know what a bubble is, it's basically where the quarterback checks most plays into. Running back knows where he's going to try hitting this. But Ezeiruaku had different plans, right? He just beats this guy super quickly. And again, it's duo, so you have a super simple out block on number 41 here. He just beats him super quickly. I absolutely love this right here. That quickness. It's rare stuff to be able to move like that. We've seen guys like Micah Parsons obviously have that type of movement. Abdul Carter, guys like Nolan Smith are pretty good at moving. This guy moves really well as well. So one of the things this guy will have to continue to develop is going to be the power, the strength, the speed will slow down going into next season, but the quickness is already there. And of course, as this guy just continues to develop, I think he's going to end up becoming a really good football player for the Cowboys. I think an argument realistically could be made that Donovan Ezeiruaku is the best defensive end right now from this past class. I know some people will say Abdul Carter is still the best, but what I'm saying is an argument can be made for Ezeiruaku. The guy is really, really impressive. I like some of what he's flashed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know the Dallas Cowboys season has not went the exact way they wanted, but next year I think the Cowboys are going to be so much better. You have a coach you could trust on the offensive side. George Pickens had his most dominant season. He may have to get paid, but, the Cowboys will figure it out. And, of course, you cannot overlook the fact that you have an elite defensive line. And there's just playmakers and ballers on the all sides of the football for the Cowboys. One of the best defensive lines, one of the best offensive lines. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. The Cowboys are going to be great, I think, as we go into next season. Let me know what you guys think, man. Thumbs up, subscribe. We will continue to cover the Cowboys. And I'll see you guys next time with another video.